Welcome to Module 4, Calling Your Power Home. How have you been going? Are you putting those rituals into place? Have you been doing the check yourself? And I just wanted to see how you're going with that calling yourself home. Are you doing that of a nighttime as you go to bed? And have you found that you've needed to do that through the day at all? So just checking in to see whether you are doing that. Remembering that if you're having like thoughts that are just looping around your mind, to remind you to do the write and burn. You don't have to just do that as a big write and burn. You can just write off a couple of sentences and burn it if you need to. So just whilst you're going through this process at the beginning, you might be doing those sorts of things more often than what you will eventually be doing them. So don't think that there's any rules to, oh, I'm doing this too much. No, if you've got things on your mind, get them out and onto paper. If they're not helpful, burn them. If they're really helpful and they're visions, then put them into your journal. Now, with module 4, calling yourself home, calling your power home. This is where, we've looked back on our life. We've come out of the shadows and out of hiding. We've looked back on our life and seen what has happened for us, and we've found that there's medicine in that for us. In module 3, we went through and worked that we have those moments of reflection and contemplation to really slow down and step out of the chaos that is ensuing around us in our life to sit in our center. Calling your power home is the bigger version of that. This is where we're getting really curious and observing our life for all that's happening outside of us now, and the choices that we're making in our outside of our lives. Embodying all of who we are, it's brave, just going to say. In a world today where we're showing how to dress, what to look like, how to have our hair and our makeup, and all these influencers are out there telling us all the things, it's a really brave thing to go, you know what? No, just no. That's just not me, and I'm not doing it. That's a really brave thing to do. That means your warrior has been awakened. Embodying all of you and understanding that none of it's good, bad, or in between. Like, stop labeling it all of whether it's a positive or a negative, or it's good or it's bad. It just simply is. We get to accept ourselves in our wholeness exactly the way that we are. And we get to move through our life in a much more grounded, centered presence. So have a look at who you let into that. Have a look at the choices that you're making and the boundaries that maybe you don't have. Because you've done all this work for yourself now to allow other people or circumstance or experiences to come into your life that set you off center. It sort of reduces everything that you've done for yourself. How are you allowing those people around you to treat you? This is where the empath in us can come forward and have that need for people pleasing and for making sure that everybody else around us feels really comfortable, that we may not like confrontation. And so therefore we close our mouth and we put up with things so that we don't have to go there. But what it's doing is it's chipping away slowly but surely at the person that you are. And if you truly want to awaken that warrior within you, then creating some healthy boundaries for yourself and for those around you is the best thing that you could possibly do. Because too many times what we're actually doing is we're enabling other people to not take responsibility for their own life. So if you're here doing this, it means that you are taking responsibility and accountability for your part in your life. And so that now means that you get to look at it and go, you know what? I'm actually no longer available for that. I'm not going to be treated in that way anymore. And you know what? These friends that, just are always here taking from me, I'm actually no longer available for that either. Does this mean that we go out and we sack everybody and we break up with everybody? No, of course not. No, we don't. What we do is we start to say no more. We start to say no to the things that don't feel in alignment with us. We start to say no to the things that we know we're only saying yes to make that other person happy, even though it's going to put us out, make us uncomfortable, probably cost us money and time that we really don't want to be spending. When we start to say no to things that don't align with us, it allows us the space to say yes to the things that do. Awakening the warrior within isn't about becoming this fighting machine where we're just like, nope, nope, nope to everybody else around us. It is that real, like that presence to go, you know what? This is me. This is who I am. This is me and my grounded centeredness. And this is what I want for my life. If that does not suit, then I'm not doing it. And starting to get very, very clear on what it is that you like. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What are your values? And how do you know when your values aren't being respected? What boundaries do you need to put up in your life? That is a great one, the yes and the no, like saying yes to things that you just want to say no to. Just start saying no. That people pleasing behavior that we're doing in order to find our worth in somebody else, it needs to stop. Because as a warrior, you are fully in touch and clear about your worth. You don't need to find it in another person. And so doing this work, this is around really getting clear of who you are, what you value, what are your core beliefs, and where is that not being respected in my life? And just start to make those little tiny changes, because just as life was chipping away at you, you can just chip away at those things that are unhelpful, disempowering, and disrespectful to you and who you are. Calling your power home doesn't mean that you turn into this arrogant, you know, overconfident and actually pulverize everybody else. And I think that if you're watching this, you're not that person anyway that's going to do that. But there might be a little bit of a time when the scales tip a little bit. Okay. So you might go from being completely not to, oh my God, I've gone the other way. You will come back and balance. It's about all the things that we put into this process through these modules, putting them into action. If you start to put more of your intention and attention on yourself and do better, your world outside of you shifts in accordance. Maya Angelou, one of my favorite sayings, I absolutely love this, and it's when we know better, we get to do better. And so the only way we know better is to actually look at ourselves and go, like, where am I not in integrity here? Where am I not being honest? Where am I not being, having healthy boundaries? Where am I like being angry or like lacking in self-awareness? Taking those moments of reflection, really supportive. Doing those daily practices every single day, so supportive. Doing that journaling and those write and burns and doing all of this gets you to really unpack and meet yourself so that you can actually call all of you home. Come into full acceptance as the person you are and come at life with your wholeness, in your wholeness. So look at your thoughts. What thoughts are you thinking every single day? Joe Dispenza, I'm not sure of the exact number, but he speaks about the thoughts we have yesterday we're going to have 90 something percent of the same thoughts as we had yesterday again today. The quality of those thoughts matters because our thoughts are in direct response to how we feel. And so if you're feeling like you're not worthy, you're lacking confidence, you're not enough, you're constantly judging yourself for everything that you're not, or it's your thoughts that are creating those feelings. Shift the way you think about yourself. You shift the way you feel. And when we shift the way we feel, it in turn shifts how we act. So if you're not taking the action, if you're feeling stuck in your life and you cannot move forward, it's because you're not taking action because your thoughts are not clear. Your thoughts are full of judgment. Start now this week for an entire week. Calling your power home means clearing your mind of those thoughts that are not helpful. Sit with a journal. Even if you're not a journaler, just promise yourself you're going to do this every single day, writing down the thoughts that you have in that day. Have a look. What is the common denominator here? What am I continually thinking about? And if it's money, I'm just going to throw this in here. If you're thinking about money every single day, that is directly in alignment with how you think about yourself. How you feel about yourself causes the action that's happening around that. So clearing the thoughts of how you feel about yourself gets you feeling more confident. You'll make choices that are a bit braver. You'll do things that you wouldn't have done when you were thinking, I can't, I'm not enough, I'm not whole, and all of the thoughts. You will start to actually hold yourself differently. You'll feel more confident, and therefore you'll make choices that are more confident, which have a more positive outcome for you in your life. This is the biggest key to self-development, to changing. What we change outside, we don't have to affect anything outside of ourselves. The whole thing happens within us. Shift your thoughts. You will feel different, and then you will act differently. Be brave. Start to meet those thoughts and challenge them and go, that is not even my truth. Recognize that a lot of those thoughts were either hand-me-downs from your family or they were taught behaviors. You've picked them up off somebody else. You've copied somebody else's work. Or it's left over from when you were 6 years old. And now that you're 50, that actually doesn't even make sense. So challenge those thoughts. Be more intentional with how you think. And the only way you get to do that is to be witness to what it is that you are currently thinking and shift those thoughts. I have something that I do with clients that when they have those looping thoughts or they're constantly in that negative thinking pattern, when they catch themselves, now here's the thing, we've got to become aware of it. So when the awareness hits and you catch yourself in a negative thought, say the word abracadabra. Your mind goes, what the? And what it does is it shifts the mind from just going around that same loop to, it just interrupts it for a minute and it doesn't know where to go. So you at that moment have the choice of what to think in that moment. Abracadabra, as I speak, so I create. So every time you feel your awareness comes in and you go, oh my God, I'm here again. I'm thinking negatively. Abracadabra. And think of a really good thought to think. And just start to train. It's just like training anything, training a muscle. Train your mind to shift how it thinks. And everything else in your life is going to change. So when we come back for module 5, I'm going to check in with you to see how this is going for you over this course of between the modules. Take those moments for yourself, the reflection. Get your journal out. Start to meet the thoughts. Have a look at them. Challenge them. Abracadabra them. Calling your power home means actually being really present with what's going on within, and also seeing what you're allowing to happen outside of you based on what you currently think about yourself. Taking your power back means that you are no longer available for anything that is not helpful, supportive, or in your best interest. This module is a big one, so I hope you take the time for it, and I'll see you in module 5.